In the history of the known universe, every war has only been fought with conscripted soldiers. The galaxy was thus unprepared when humanity entered a galactic conflict with a trained professional fighting force. "Onward, you maggots!" Guarm shouted, stomping on the head of an injured Shirn, its head popping satisfactorily under his massive, articulated foot. He lifted his rifle in his left hand and sprayed rounds haphazardly over the conscripts, reminding them that their only chance at life is to overwhelm the enemy. In his right hand, Guarm thrust his command stanchion forward, sending a bolt of energy into the haze of battle. Up and down the battle line, more multi-armed Carnier like him pushed their groups of conscripts much like Guarm was doing. The humans had neutralized the Carnier's air and space assets, but at a cost devolving the battle for the humans' colony into an all-out ground war. Guarm smiled toothily. Little did the humans know that ground wars were the Carnier's specialty. Their armies consisted of hundreds of conquered species, adding their unique capabilities on the battlefield to their own. The Shirn were cannon fodder, but the Wee Soup were multi-armed scouts that were able to change their skin's pigmentation to blend into the terrain. They were excellent resources for sneaking into enemy bases and abducting or assassinating the enemy's leaders. Then there were the Heavies, the Io from a high-gravity world. On their backs, they carried massive siege-like weaponry, capable of destroying entire buildings in a single shot. All races in the galaxy lived and died on how many other species they could conquer and conscript to fight and die for them. The Carnier were near the top of that list. Only the Indaran Empire exceeded their own armies of conscripts. Guarm wondered what kind of conscripts the upstart humans would be. Maybe they were. They key to matching the Indaran Empire, and maybe conquering them. The thought excited him, and he pushed his conscripts harder. Another Carnier at the far edge of the battle space interrupted Guarm's thoughts with a garbled scream over the comms. "Our line is faltering. We need help. The humans—" The transmission cut off. Guarm thought nothing of it until another Carnier, this time on the opposite side of the line, reported something similar, only to be cut off. "Report!" Guarm's superior officer barked. "What the Valk is going on? Do I have to come down and beat you with my stanchion myself? Drive your—" The transmission cut off in a burst of static, then silence. Guarm growled. Something was not right. "Blue Squad, collapse and form a defensive perimeter around me," he bellowed. The squad complied, although haphazardly and not as fast as he would have liked. If they survived this battle, Guarm would expend judicious punishment upon them until they improved. "Green Squad, covering fire, phalanx formation and push." Again, the conscripts took longer than he would have liked, but eventually complied and achieved the desired formation. "Forward, for victory, for your only chance to live." They didn't make it far before a single squad of humans materialized in the haze and dust of battle. They moved with precision, efficiency, and quickness that no army the Carnier have ever experienced before. Every attempt by Guarm to amass fire of his squads was met with wasted expenditure of their rapidly diminishing ammunition. For the first time in years, Guarm felt fear. These humans were steadily wiping out his squad and hadn't taken a casualty in return. As his losses climbed, the conscripts' fear of the humans outpaced their fear of Guarm. Several threw their weapons down, turned and ran back towards base. A couple threw their weapons far away from them and dropped to the ground in surrender. Guarm took a round to his shoulder, followed by another to his knee. His armor held, but the impacts were effective enough in that he lost his rifle, and his knee buckled under him. In an instant, Guarm was swarmed by humans, who bound his arms and legs before he had a chance to react. He spat dirt from his mouth. "How dare you touch me? Untie me now and your deaths will be swift." A helmeted human crouched down in front of the prone Carnier and set its visor to clear. From a speaker mounted in the helmet, the robotic voice of a translator spat out, "What is your identification?" "The indignity." How dare a conscript such as yourself speak to me like an equal? You're nothing but an insect under my heel. Guarm struggled uselessly against his restraints. Did he just call us a conscript? Another human asked, translators working in full effect. Did you not pay attention to the briefing hall? The one that had bent down asked while keeping its attention on Guarm. Yeah, Hall, it was right there in the mission briefing that the entire galaxy uses conscripts from the races that they conquered. It's a whole class and elitist thing. A different human spoke up. Oh, I sort of remember something about that, Hall said sheepishly. Hall, were you more interested in the person giving the briefing? The entire squad erupted in a chorus of sounds that made no sense to Guarm. No, sir. So, I guess the galaxy is going to have a rude awakening once they realize that Earth relies on a volunteer force, eh? Hall quickly changed subjects. Guarm's eyes nearly escaped his skull. His surprise was so thorough. Volunteer? Who would volunteer to fight? That thought was immediately followed by a sense of dread that caused Guarm to bury his face in the dirt. A species that was born and bred in warfare. That's what. This was a colony on the outskirts of human space, and a squad of 8 humans managed to stop his 100 conscript-strong unit. Yes, the Indaran Empire would fall, but it wouldn't be by the Carnier. Humans will change the course of the galactic community for the rest of its existence. And it all started here, with Guarm face down in the dirt while these non-conscripts prattled on.